Better Than Life was the first Red Dwarf episode to include extensive location filming and of course heavily revolves around virtual reality gaming. The opening scene of the episode focuses on the aftermath of Rimmer having cooked for Lister and the cat, with assistance from the Scuttlers. Rimmer has cooked so badly that both Lister and the cat become ill, though only Lister is seen to be ill. As opening scenes go, it's decent. It has some good jokes, and as was the style of the first two series, focuses on the differing personalities of Lister and Rimmer. However, in Series 2, it seems that there is a greater attempt, with the scenes between Rimmer and Lister, to crack jokes, which, whether this was an intentional change or not, is an improvement on Series 1. Holly then appears in a similar way to the previous episode and cracks a few jokes before revealing that the post has finally arrived after 3 million years, as Red Dwarf has obviously since turned around. Lister goes through the piles and piles of posts, most of which being junk mail for him. Lister soon finds a letter addressed to Rimmer and has to read it out to Rimmer. The letter is from Rimmer's mum and says that Rimmer's dad has died. The way the news is revealed is surprisingly funny, as it revolves around Lister's inability to read Rimmer's mum's handwriting. The joke surrounding Lister's inability to read the handwriting doesn't quite stray into dark comedy, but manages to be a quick little joke before it can ruin the tone. The very next scene is on the Observation Dome, a pretty interesting location on Red Dwarf. The very first shot we get of the Observation Dome is a rather impressive model. While it is brief, we do get a sense of the uniqueness of the dome. The scene is surprisingly serious, and you could even say emotional. The only joke in this scene really comes at the end when the cat appears. The rest of the scene is pretty down to earth and makes you forget about the setting. This scene could be set anywhere, because it just seems so real. This may be the first scene in Red Dwarf to feel more like a drama and less like a comedy. Previous Red Dwarf episodes have included scenes with levels of drama, but there will usually be a degree of humour, such as in the previous episode when Crichton is watching the android soap opera. Chris Barry and Craig Charles are great during this scene, especially considering this scene isn't big on the comedy. The musical score also adds to the drama and sombre tone and works rather effectively. This scene and this episode give an insight into Rimmer as a character, and while he's been a great character up until this point, it's with this scene really where he starts to become a more three-dimensional person, which for a sitcom set 3 million years in the future is quite impressive, I think. The cat, Rimmer and Lister soon begin playing the virtual reality simulation Better Than Life. After Rimmer takes some persuading, they enter the simulation. Rimmer is now, in the game that is, a physical, regular human being, meaning the H from his forehead has disappeared. The filming in Ryle Beach was notoriously inconvenient for Ed By, the director. They wanted everything to appear perfect, as is the point of the game. However, on the day of filming, the weather was windy, cloudy, and not especially warm, so as a result, the Ryle sequence did not go the way Ed By intended. It does, however, work as well as it can. I did not think about the weather at all until I read about the production history. Considering this is the first episode to include extensive location filming, and the location filming doesn't look too bad. Several perfect, fantastical things begin happening to the trio. Rimmer meets his hero Napoleon Bonaparte, and Lister and the cat get a motorbike. After some trouble thinking of his own way of getting to the beach cafe, Rimmer imagines a Jaguar E-Type with his own perfect woman inside. The overall concept of the game, Better Than Life, is just as great as it sounds. With a larger budget, who knows what other ideas may have been thrown in, but it works very effectively as it is, bringing in nice jokes and, so far at least, a clever and tightly written story. The pacing in this episode is pretty good and does not feel like 25 minutes. The scenes in the beach house are pretty funny, mainly for the visuals. Rimmer's fantasy as an admiral is well written and blatantly absurd. When Rimmer's father appears and calls him a smeghead, it turns out this is actually the cat's fantasy, who then takes Rimmer's cigar, a decently funny conclusion to an already amusing scene. It soon turns out that Rimmer's neurotic brain can't cope with all these nice things happening to him, so naturally things start going wrong for him. Then the taxman arrives and threatens to break his bones. This is all quite darkly funny and suits Rimmer's character perfectly. Being a Red Dwarf episode, things cannot be perfect for long. It works as a decent contrast from the beginning of the game, and yet doesn't feel tonally inconsistent. Rimmer's subconsciously negative attitude soon starts affecting Holly the cat and Lister, and they quickly find themselves up to their necks in sand, covered in jam, and about to be eaten by ants. It makes for perhaps the most visually striking moment of the whole episode. It then cuts back to Red Dwarf when the taxman reappears, making everyone realise that they are still inside the game. Then the episode ends just as the taxman begins breaking Rimmer's fingers with a hammer. So that concludes Better Than Life. This episode was a pretty great one, actually. It may not be one of the most popular Red Dwarf episodes, but I think it's an underrated early classic. The next episode is Thanks for the Memory. So that concludes another Red Dwarf review. I'm going to be trying to do these pretty regularly, as regularly as I can. If you obviously want to watch more of my videos, then the logical thing would be to subscribe. Thanks for watching.